We should be getting most of our calories from starches and healthy fats. Hey, everybody, it's Jason Blaha here. Thought I would chat with you guys and gals a little bit about this today, but a quick reminder, if you guys will please click like down below, it'd be greatly appreciated. If you're not subscribed or following, please do so. And if you'll be kind enough to drop me a comment down below, I'd greatly appreciate that. Thank you so much. And for those of you, please let me know down below, what sort of eating approach you use. I'd love to hear it. What do you guys eat? What's your preference in all this? What do you prefer to do? Let's hear it. All right, but let's get over to the topic. So when it comes over to this stuff, when I say these things, it's multifold in nature. People say, what about protein? What about more protein? Well, if you're not lifting and you're not an athlete, you don't need huge amounts of protein. So let's be fair. So realistically, I'll jump into that and you guys will see what I mean. So then when we start talking about people who work out, where should we really be filling our calories? The average person needing, 100 grams or something just for basic health, that's 400 calories. Okay, if they're even eating a low 2,000 calorie diet because they're not super active or something, and we're talking about a grown man, right? That's only 400 calories out of their 2,000. That's 20%. See where we're going with that? Even if they go to 150, right? It's only 30%. You got to get the other 70% from something, right? You got to get it from something. And the same thing, let's say that we're a lifter. Let's say, even for me, like I'm cutting on 3,000 calories. I'm losing a couple pounds a week on that. So let's say I eat 150, or let's say I do 200 grams of protein, right? Let's take it up. Let's go there, right? Let's go there. Let's go even with 200. That's only 800 calories, guys. That is a pretty small chunk of the total calories. So where should we be getting our calories from? Starches and healthy fats. And when I say healthy fats, I mean non-saturated fat. You should definitely have a bias towards polyunsaturated, but even like plant source monounsaturated, it's still fantastic. The reason I say this, it has to do with our health. So notice that I said those things. I didn't say a bunch of refined sugars. I didn't say necessarily add a bunch of oils. You're talking from whole foods. So example, you'd be eating rice and avocados. You could be doing, potatoes and almond butter, right? I'm just giving you examples, right? Just giving examples. I'm not narrowing down saying, hey, this is exactly literally what you have to eat, But so let's think about that examples of meals. All right, how about really lean beef, some rice, avocado with it, then maybe whatever salsa and other vegetables like this. That's a balanced, healthy, fit meal. Okay, or even if you wanted to go lower fat, you don't have to add the healthy fats. But in terms of just overall, if we're talking health, performance, body composition, I'm not talking about necessarily cutting when you're doing maybe a really ultra low fat pro diet, or you're cutting carbs really low, and so then you need healthy fats. We're not talking for serious cutting. We're talking just in general, like gaining muscle, just better body composition, best health markers, inflammation control. And I think that's kind of the point that we run into also, is inflammation control. That's one of the reasons we do need the healthy fats. But I'll jump into that briefly. Obviously, the starches make sense. It's our primary preferred fuel source as a species. We thrive on starch-based diets. Best athletes in the world all eat starch-based diets. Longest lived cultures, starch-based diets. Okay. We start looking, though, at overall health. Look at something like, say, the Mediterranean diet. It's pretty much the model of health. They still eat plenty of starches, whole food starches, staple. They have lean proteins in. They do have some lean red meat, other stuff like that. That's pretty normal. Generally agreed, this is largely the healthiest diet on earth, but then they have a liberal use of healthy fats. So you'll see a lot of, say, extra virgin olive oil, some other healthy fats. That's why I always say avocados is pretty interchangeable. But they also then get omega-3s from, say, a little bit of fatty fish, stuff like that, certain nuts and seeds. All right. But you look at that model and go, that's largely, the experts generally agree, like, dude, this sort of diet's the healthiest there is. Make sure you get a reasonable amount of lean animal protein, and notice it's generally lean. They only eat leaner red meats, fish, leaner poultry, obviously, stuff like that. And it works very, very well. Starches, so then they're eating grains, right? They're eating grains, starchy diet, and then they fill in the rest with monounsaturated and polyunsaturated fats. From closer to whole food type sources, it's generally nothing more refined than extra virgin olive oil. All right, they do really well. So then we know that starches are your primary, they're your training fuel. If your starches and carbs drop too low, your performance suffers, your muscle suffers. We know this. This is documented over and over and over. Even if you can do a lower carb approach, that's why I tell people, you still need some nuts and seeds and other stuff in there, because you've got to have some little bit of carbohydrate to even function. But yeah, getting a big chunk of your calories from starchy carbohydrates give you the best training, large insulin response for muscle growth, body composition improvement. But then we come over, so where then is the role of all the healthy fats? Well, it's going to be controlling inflammation, it's going to be vitamin absorption, insulin improvement. So that's the other problem too. This is stuff I noticed too when I start running too long of ultra low fat. Even for me, like when I was doing the cutting, you run the ultra low fat too long with just the carbs, you start getting inflammation mounting a little bit. Why? Not because the carbs themselves are inflammatory, it's because training hard, calorie deficits, all this stuff create inflammation on tissues in the body. The healthy fats reduce inflammation. Okay, and that's a key point. It's a key point. We are reducing inflammation, and that cannot be stressed enough, the importance of that in the equation. Okay, inflammation control, because you need those healthy fats. They also raise HDL, they lower LDL. So again, better health markers, better health outcomes. And we see that repeatedly. Anytime, say, saturated fats replaced with these, study after study, health markers improve, inflammation improves, cardiac risk improves. But it's the same thing then with your carbohydrates. Once we add a little more healthy fats in, we get a better insulin sensitivity with it, okay? Because not only does it slow absorption just a hair, it's like, if you eat fiber and healthy fats, even white rice is just super tame on all that. So what we're then getting, inflammation control, improved insulin sensitivity. All right, that improved insulin sensitivity is massive from the healthy fats. It's massive. It's massive for your health. It's massive for, again, controlling cancer, controlling diabetes, all the other things, but it's also massive for your muscle growth and muscle retention. Because again, insulin sensitivity is enormous, because insulin is largely the most anabolic hormone we have, and the more sensitive we are to it due to, again, adjustments in our diet, the better the muscle building response from it as well. So again, that is why this works so well, and this is why we should eat this way.